The hero shooter of Marvel Rivals, where there's multiple conflicts currently going on about that, all the way over to one game that has picked up a crap ton of popularity, Schedule 1. I'm going to be covering a good bit of news ranging from games like that in this video, so sit down, buckle up, and let's get into it. Starting off, we've got the Marvel Rivals news going from the Marvel Rivals new game mode, which seems kind of interesting to me. Marvel Rivals is going to be creating a auto chess type game mode to be released on June 6th, coming up with the new update that is also going to be following along with that. In Season 2, which promises other changes to the game as well, but we'll get to that. Marvel Rivals has unveiled the new Ultron's Battle Matrix Protocol mode, which will be released on June 6th for all players, inspired by the popular Dota 2 auto chess mode in Ultron's Battle Matrix Protocol. Players will face off against 5 opponents. Each player will assemble a team of 6 different heroes from the roster and will be able to create builds for them with effects such as Venom increasing in size and devouring enemies. They will then place the characters on a board according to the strategy they have defined, starting the battle against each other until only one player is left standing. So yeah, it's basically an auto chess game mode. If you don't know what the auto chess game modes are, I'm sure those that play Marvel Rivals will probably end up trying the game mode regardless of whether or not they like auto chess games or not. But I'll leave a couple pictures on the screen down here or over there or whatever, just so you can kind of like get the taste or like get like a gist just to see what's going on that front. Sticking with the Marvel Rival news for right now, Marvel Rivals has revealed Ultron's ability kit. I myself probably won't go into too much detail about his kit because there's plenty of videos talking about it already. But developers recently announced that Marvel Rivals' major mid-season update will be launching on May 30th, which will add some new features, team-ups, and balance updates to the game, in addition to introducing Ultron as a playable character. In a recent trailer, NetEase gave players their first look at Ultron's ability kit in Marvel Rivals, showing off the character's power as he flies around the battle map. The trailer shows him using his primary ability to shoot a beam from his right hand, which appears to both damage foes and heal allies. So if you're familiar with Overwatch, it's basically Moira in a way. It's reminiscent of Moira's Coalescence beam. Or if you're newer, Juno's standard fire, it will heal and damage enemies. The recent Dev Vision update also stated that he will have a team-up ability with Iron Man that allows him to fire a version of the Unibeam from his hand that will pierce both allies and foes, dishing out damage and healing in equal measure. So his team-up just gives him Moira's Coalescence. While Marvel Rivals strategists are capable of dealing plenty of damage, many players are most concerned about their ability to heal, buff, and generally support allies, like the support strike that is currently going on. From the footage shown, Ultron appears to be capable of rising to that task. At crucial moments, Ultron summons small drones that create shields for himself and nearby allies. Though it seems to be very brief, meanwhile Ultron's abilities, or ultimate abilities, summons copies of himself and unleashes a series of targeted explosions capable of harming enemies and healing teammates. So basically every piece of Ultron's kit sounds like it will be able to heal you and your allies and damage enemies. Before the game's next major update drops on May 30th, players have time to wrap up the Hellfire Gala moments and Galacta's gift events in Marvel Rivals. Completing all 3 acts of the Hellfire Gala moments will reward players with a new patch costume for the duelist Wolverine. Meanwhile, completing the Galacta's gift event will allow players to claim a custom coin which they can exchange for a free skin. With so much content to enjoy and even more on the way, many fans are feeling optimistic about the future of Marvel Rivals. I, for one, am not, but that's something totally different. Because I've heard and seen a lot of talk about how Marvel Rivals is kind of taking a dip and like a dive deep down. Like all the toxic players from Overwatch are migrating over to Marvels, which I'm not the only person that thinks that. Obviously, Flats as well thinks the same thing. Moving on from the Marvel Rivals news, oddly enough, we have some Fortnite news. Fortnite leak indicates that the free Apple skin could return soon. Now, for those of you that are unaware, they're talking about the Tart Tycoon skin, which I'll put up over there. Epic Games released an Apple-inspired skin for the hashtag Free Fortnite event back in 2020, so 5 years ago. And a leak has pointed towards the possibility of this rare skin making a comeback to Fortnite, which I would be highly disappointed about, because it seems like every rare skin that they've put into the game is coming back. Like Borderlands, with Borderlands 4 coming out, they brought the Psycho Bandit back, which was a very rare skin because it came out whenever Borderlands 3 was released, and now they're bringing it back for Borderlands 4, so that skin lost all rarity. Yeah, they're going to be bringing back Tart Tycoon, this states, and again, that was 5 years ago, so, and you had very little time to get the Tart Tycoon skin, and it just seems very upsetting that they're going to be bringing skins back that are just going to lose all value. Unfortunately, Fortnite was removed from mobile devices back in 2020 due to an issue with tax on in-app payments. This was eventually solved in court, but gamers had to wait 4 years, and it remained off of Apple devices in the US for a while longer. At the start of May, it was announced that Fortnite would soon come back to iOS devices in the United States, but this was unexpectedly pushed back as Apple ignored Epic's submission for the Fortnite app to delay its return. Took a couple of extra weeks, but the issue has finally been resolved, and fans can now play Fortnite on iOS devices in the US. Some gamers expected quests and free cosmetics to celebrate this event, and according to HypeX, a known leaker, the Tart Tycoon skin will probably be making a return to Fortnite following this bump in the road. While there were previous rumors of the Tart Tycoon outfit coming back to Fortnite, HypeX now says that it will still be made available this season. The free Tart Tycoon skin is set to return. The cup is being updated to return this season. It still requires you to just survive and consume apples. Gamers will supposedly have the opportunity to acquire the Tart Tycoon skin for free in a tournament. However, it is interesting that the skin that Epic Games might choose to celebrate this major event, as it was initially given away during the free Fortnite campaign after the incident between Epic Games and Apple. This could be a jab at Apple for trying to prevent Fortnite from making it onto the App Store, even after the court ruled in favor of Epic Games. So yeah, it appears that the Tart Tycoon skin could return, but it's not completely set in stone, so we'll have to see what happens with that. Space Marines, Warhammer 40k people, Warhammer 40k Space Marines Master Crafted Edition seemingly won't be coming to PlayStation 5, at least not initially. The exact circumstances that led to the Space Marine Remaster skipping the PS5 are still unclear, but it's possible that the game is still planning to reach Sony's latest console. The massive success of Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, which had sold over 4.5 million copies as of the early 2025, reignited fan interest in revisiting its 2011 predecessor. Sega, which has owned the right to the original title since acquiring developer Relic Entertainment in 2013, has moved to capitalize on this momentum, sorry, I'm stupid, by announcing its remaster of Master Crafted Edition on May 22nd. However, it would appear that the remaster won't be coming to PS5, whose logo was missing from its reveal trailer, which premiered during Warhammer Skulls 2025. The 82-second video only ended with the promise of Space Marines launching on the Xbox Series X/S and PC via both Steam and Epic Games Store on June 10th. But that's because PlayStation kind of sucks. Sony's kind of greedy, and well, all of them are greedy looking at Nintendo currently. As for what could be the reason behind the Space Marines remaster seemingly skipping PlayStation at launch, two possibilities seem plausible. One is that the PlayStation port may require additional development time for unspecified reasons. Alternatively, the PS5 version might still be planned to debut alongside the PC and Xbox counterparts, as it's only its official announcement that's being held back for some reason. Prominent industry insider Jeff Grubb reported that the PlayStation State of Play is currently on the agenda for June 2025, which could explain the delay, as Sony may have asked Sega to withhold the PS5 announcement to help bolster the upcoming event's lineup. This scenario would still leave open the possibility of the Mastercrafted Edition launching on the PS5 simultaneously with the Xbox Series X and S and PC versions. In the realm of Elden Ring news, I'm only going to say a small amount on the Elden Ring movie, but that is because the movie, for those that didn't know, there's going to be an Elden Ring movie eventually. We're not 100% sure because there's no actual release date for said movie yet. It hasn't really been talked about that much. So there's not really a whole lot to be said about the Elden Ring movie currently, so I can't really cover too much on that. Nightreign, however, the file size of Nightreign has been revealed for consoles and potentially PC. Ahead of its release later this month, the file size of Nightreign on the PlayStation console has been revealed, giving players an idea of how much space they'll need, while the initial reveal of the co-op focused Elden Ring Nightreign likely surprised fans. The wait to go hands-on with the full experience is nearly at an end. Unlike its predecessor, Elden Ring Nightreign places an emphasis on 3-player co-op as they attempt to level up and survive 3 in-game days inside a procedurally generated open world. So it's basically kind of like, well, I'm sure most people know, but for those that don't, it is basically kind of like if you ever played Majora's Mask, it's a lot like time-wise Majora's Mask, but it's more along the lines of like a roguelike. Social media account of PlayStation Game Size recently confirmed how big Nightreign will be for PS4 and PS5 users. PlayStation 4 users will need to set aside 21.176 gigabytes, while PS5 users will need slightly less at 21.156 on 20 whole gigabytes, or 0.20. For those downloading the Elden Ring Nightreign digital bonuses, the art book and soundtrack come in at 738 megabytes. Unfortunately, the file sizes only reflect the PlayStation consoles, though both Xbox and PC should be fairly similar regardless. It looks as though Nightreign won't be resource intensive once it does launch. Recommending preload. For those who want to jump into the game, Nightreign will be able to be preload starting on May 28th. It's important. The feature essentially allows players to download the game in advance, so when the game launches, it'll be ready to go, without first needing to install or download anything. While it wasn't a universal feature initially, being able to preload the games prior to the launch, like Monster Hunter Wilds, has become popular with players, helping them cut down on the time before they can play that launch. In other words, Nightreign is going to allow you the ability to preload the game so that you can get in and play the game as soon as it comes out. Sticking with the realm of Souls-like games, Lies of P, which is quite interesting, is going to be adding a difficulty option and a new game mode. Lies of P is a acclaimed action role-playing game that drags players into a Dark Souls-like reimagining of Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio, set in the Belle Epoque-inspired city of Krat. As reported by Video Game Chronicles, game director Jiwon Cho, I'm probably butchering that, revealed details about Lies of P Overture. The new DLC will not only bring a new story for players, it will also introduce a new rush mode. Battle memories that will allow players to re-challenge all bosses from the main game and DLC. Additionally, the releases of Overture will come alongside a free update for the base game, adding 2 new difficulty options called Butterfly's Guidance and Awakened Puppet. While the default difficulty, the one everybody has been playing, will now be labeled as Legendary Stalker. That's kind of a weird name if you ask me. Choi commented on this, saying that the studio wants to make sure that more people can enjoy Lies of P Overture DLC as well as the base game, regardless of their skill level. He also revealed that this decision stems not only from player feedback, but also from the developers themselves. Choi emphasized that these new difficulty options will broaden the game's audience and cater to different types of players. With this move, NeoWiz is stepping away from the From Software formula regarding difficulty options in games. One of the reasons a game is labeled as Souls-like has to do with how tough and challenging it is, often offering only one difficulty setting and forcing players to find a way to defeat the enemies by coming up with different builds and strategies. Nevertheless, amid ongoing debates about the difficulty options in Souls-like, NeoWiz has taken a step aside and made the game more accessible for those not willing to spend hours trying to beat a single enemy. But that's to me, that's kind of the whole thing for Souls-like games, is finding that good build, finding that putting in the time, putting in the hours to beat these bosses so that you can continue, because to me that kind of feels more rewarding. In Borderlands news, coming up with Borderlands 4 news. Sorry, my microphone is being stupid. Randy Pitchford responds to the Borderlands 4 price tweet criticism. Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford has posted a video on social media clarifying his earlier remark that real fans would buy Borderlands 4 no matter the cost. His initial statement, written after a user had commented that the game better not be $80, was quickly condemned by fans who felt that Pitchford had put a price tag on fan loyalty. Borderlands 4 is currently in development with a release on September 12th, 2025. The Borderlands franchise, developed by Gearbox Software and published by 2K, is known for its blend of first-person looter-shooter gameplay, co-op multiplayer, and distinctive comic-inspired art style. Pitchford's new post on social media explains that he does not yet know the final price, although it will be revealed soon by the publisher 2K when pre-orders open. And the answer to the question about the Borderlands 4 pricing controversy, he knows that there are different schools of thought that try to balance price sensitivity and rising development costs. Sorry, I don't know what the flying crap I said. According to Pitchford, the competitive marketplace discourages unreasonable price increases, but pressure remains to increase prices of games, referring to Microsoft's and Nintendo's new pricing guidelines, which I don't think anybody agrees with. Moving on from Borderlands 4, Assassin's Creed Shadows news brings us Claws of Awaji, again, might be butchering that, expansion release, window leaked. If you don't know what that is, that's the DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's rumored Assassin's Creed Shadows is rumored to receive its first DLC titled Claws of Awaji in September at the earliest, or in October at the latest. The forthcoming expansion for Assassin's Creed Shadows alongside plans for a slew of post-launch content was revealed by Ubisoft back in April. Assassin's Creed Shadows has performed remarkably well, experienced the second biggest launch in the franchise's history besides Valhalla. I haven't played too much of Valhalla. Major highlight of Assassin's Creed Shadows Year 1 roadmap, the Claws of Waji DLC, is currently slated for a September release per Insider Gaming. The report revealed that the game's post-launch development, which introduced Awaji Island, new enemies, and new abilities for Yasuke and Naoe, hasn't been impacted by Ubisoft's recent announcement about pushing back its major IPs into 2026 and 2027. However, at the same time, it was said that a slight delay into October could be on the cards depending on the French gaming giant's release plans for its future titles and DLCs. Moreover, the long-rumored Assassin's Creed Shadows co-op mode, codename League, was also tipped to roll out at some point in 2026. It was also mentioned that the co-op mode focuses on a deeper narrative that would go beyond the dual protagonists, suggesting new playable characters might enter the mix. I would love that. Going on from Assassins to Drug Lords. Schedule 1 adds highly requested feature into the new beta update. A new Schedule 1 update is now available in Steam's beta branch, which not only replaces employees' beds with lockers, but also adds item slot filters and makes numerous improvements and bug fixes. After its gigantic Steam release back in March, Schedule 1 continues to receive a steady stream of new updates. Many of the game's patches have added new pieces of content for players to check out, with TVGS now confirming that a player vote will soon go live for the next major update. After being in beta for a few days, the latest update of Schedule 1 went live on May 8th, adding a new storage unit property known as Stash and Dash, a jukebox item, and a lot more. It also included a handful of bug fixes and general improvements, including the continued consolidation of the game's save files. After Tyler teased an addition of a helpful new Schedule 1 feature yesterday, the developer has now released the highly anticipated update in the game's beta branch. According to the official patch notes, which can be found further down the article, the update has finally replaced employee beds with lockers. The update is expected to fully release next week, but those looking to get in on the action beforehand will need to opt into the Schedule 1 beta branch on Steam. On top of that, Schedule 1 dev teases a helpful feature in the upcoming update. The solo developer has teased the addition of filters to employee lockers. The game is set to receive another major update in the coming days, with a beta version expected to go live within a day or two. All players can join Schedule 1's beta by changing the game's branch on Steam. In a recent tweet, Tyler revealed a new feature for employee lockers filters to let players decide what items can be stored in each slot. Even better, filters can be specify the quality of stored items. From the screenshot, the locker filter will include a whitelist and a blacklist, one likely allowing certain items while the other blocks specific items, drugs. The update is set to enhance Schedule 1's management mechanics, which are currently among the most requested improvements. While the exact release date hasn't been announced, beta testing is expected to start on May 23rd or 24th. And lastly, my personal favorite going into this, the classic game of Syberia is getting a remaster after 23 years. That is most of my life. Microids has announced a full remaster of Syberia, the classic point-and-click adventure game first released in 2002. The original is still regarded as a creative masterpiece by the artist and game developer Benoit Sokol. Syberia released for PC, PlayStation 2, and Xbox 360, offered detailed art, Nueva style, environments, exciting mysteries to uncover, and a surreal story with in-depth narration. Syberia follows an American lawyer named Kate Walker on a journey through Eastern Europe, exploring a fictional town in the French Alps, tasked with helping finish the sale of a spring automaton factory. She finds herself in an unexpected adventure involving everything from real mammoths to inventor Vorarlberg's otherworldly clockwork inventions. The remaster is a collaboration between Microids, the publisher of the original game, and Studio Virtualesi, with both promising to provide a faithful visual upgrade to so-called beloved work. The remaster keeps the creator's distinctive world intact, including its blend of clockpunk innovations with Siberia's iconic Soviet-inspired Art Nouveau architecture and art. The game's locations such as Vide and Arlbad have been rebuilt in full, and character models have been redesigned to match these upgraded environments while retaining their original charm. I'll be putting up screenshots of Syberia over here, like on my left side, or like, yeah, over here on the left. The Syberia Remaster modernized several of the game's puzzle challenges to take advantage of newer platforms and better hardware. The game's interface and navigations have also been rebuilt for a smoother overall experience. More in line with today's titles, these updates still aim to maintain the same sense of mystery experienced by the game's original players as they explore a wide variety of locales from mountainous towns in France to Soviet-influenced Eastern Europe. Sokol sadly passed away in 2021 and is remembered not only as the creator of Syberia but also as a pioneer in art design and visual storytelling. His inspiration can be felt throughout the adventure genre, and particularly in the likes of Machinarium. The creator's surreal artistic style might have been much more influential than that, with popular RPGs like BioShock offering similar themes. The latest title in the Syberia series was released just 3 years ago, a year after the passing of Sokol, and was dedicated to his memory. Syberia: The World Before offered similar story-focused gameplay and puzzle solving to its predecessor in terms of graphical and technical details. One can expect similar fidelity with a few enhancements from an upcoming title. Syberia Remastered is slated for a Q4, which is a fourth quarter 2025 release, although a firm date has not yet been set. I am highly looking forward to a new Syberia game. I am planning to play through Syberia: The World Before on my channels, Rumble and YouTube, so check those out as well. But I feel like that is going to do it for this week in gaming news. I will be trying to keep this updated with each week as newer stuff comes out for like big news for games and stuff like that. But for now, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on whenever I upload things. Whether you want to watch the news, the reaction content, or just the gaming content in general on either YouTube or Rumble, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit that follow button on Rumble. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you guys on the next one. See ya.